Welcome to Joy Unfiltered. I'm Rachel, and this is a podcast about joy. Not the shiny, performative kind, not the everything happens for a reason kind. This is joy as a strategy, a way to stay steady when life feels loud, a way to stay human when things are hard, a way to lead, love, and live without burning out or checking out. Some episodes will be just me. Some will be honest conversations with people who have lived their way into a deeper, truer joy. No fixing, no bypassing, just real stories, real tools, and room to breathe. Let's get into it. Well, welcome back or welcome to Joy Unfiltered. I am Rachel, your host, and I am super excited to have. Oh, I should have asked you this before. I'm going to start over. It's Melanie, right?
Yeah.
I just wanted to. I always ask people, and it's Melanie Bonk, right?
That's right.
Okay. I'm going to stop. No, I'm just going to keep recording, and I'm going to cut that part out. Okay. Sorry. I
No
always
worries.
ask people how to say their names first, and then I was like, just in case. Okay. All right. Right. Well, welcome back or welcome to Joy Unfiltered. I am Rachel, your host, and I am so excited. I have a really great guest with me today. Melanie Bonk is here with us. Let me get her introduced so that you can listen to her instead of just listening to my voice today. So, Melanie is a trauma-informed somatic sexuality and relationship coach, wife of 27 plus years, mama of 4, and founder of Bonk Better. I love that. Blending neuroscience, nervous system regulation, embodied communication, and tantric philosophy and practices, Melanie teaches individuals and couples how to cultivate presence, emotional intelligence, and deep relational safety so success doesn't come at the expense of aliveness. Her work is rooted in lived devotion, building a long-term marriage, raising a family, leading a business, and choosing connection again and again in the middle of real life, which is amazing. So you are living what you are teaching. I love that. Through the Bonk Better method, she bridges science and the sacred, reminding us that the most powerful force in any room isn't control or charisma. It's embodied presence aligned with purpose. And yes, her last name really is Bonk, and her birthday is Valentine's Day. Woohoo! And she is truly here to help you bonk better. Welcome, Melanie, to the podcast.
Yay. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, so much. And I think the universe clearly calls all of us into our gifts, but the universe actually named your gifts for you. So how like what an amazing synergy that you have.
Yes. If I wasn't listening and doing the work I would be doing, I think life would just be miserable and joyless.
Yes. Yes. Well, let's jump right in. Jump right in. But why don't you give us a brief history of how you, besides being born on Valentine's Day, but how you kind of got to where you are and leading this really great practice.
Yes. I would love to give you a little history, and we have to go in the way, way, way back machine. So we're going
Let's
back.
go.
My parents, we'll just put it this way, all of my parents and my step parents are all on their third marriage. So that's a lot if you think about how many weddings that is. So when I was quite young, I knew that I wanted something different. I knew I wanted something more grounded, more safe, more alive than that, and less dramatic for sure. So when I came together back with my husband 27 years ago, I really started diving into what it takes to create that in your life, what it takes to create that kind of connection, the longevity. And I was not going to sacrifice anything. So that included hot, steamy, delicious lovemaking. And I eventually became the go to person for relationship advice, love advice, sex advice in my inner circle. And then really it was, I found my calling early. I'd worked in corporate. We ended up having children, lovely boys. And when we had our twins, our firstborn was about 2, and then we had twins, and I was still working out of the home. And my boss said, "Well, I don't think that's going to work for us." And I said, "I don't think it's going to work for me either." So then I switched gears and totally went into being a full-time mama, and we had one more boy after that. So my kids were pretty young when I found the fact that you could actually get even more education on creating this kind of relationship, and I could teach it to others. So about 6 years ago now, I found a course where I got certified in love, sex, and relationship coaching. And I started seeing clients. I started changing relationships and lives in such a beautiful way. But I also was seeing such a pattern in my clients that really it was our nervous system. It was somatic work that was my calling. And so I went back and got further training in somatic trauma healing. And now I've got a practice that's beautiful. I help couples, I help individuals, and it's at that somatic level because we can sit on a couch doing cognitive therapy and talk, but it doesn't really change until we begin to embody what we're desiring. So I now help folks in somatic healing and regulating the nervous system and really stepping into that soul level connection to their bodies. And if they have a partner, to their partners as well.
I love that. And I am furiously, those of you who are in your cars or taking a walk or doing something and not actually watching, you don't see me like furiously like writing things down. So much to unpack in what you said, which I think is delicious. One of the things that I think is so important as we begin conversations or having conversations is language. And
Mhm.
there's lots of words that you use. I wrote down safe, grounded, alive, somatic work, nervous system regulation. And I feel like some of them get to be a little bit buzzwords. And, it's
Mm.
good because that means lots of people are talking about that. But I would love to have some foundation in the conversation. So we're just gonna go through those words. Quick
Let's
definition.
do
What do
it.
these things mean to you? So when you say safe,
Mhm.
you said safe, grounded, alive. So when you wanted to feel safe, what does that mean? What does that mean to you?
That means safety on really so many levels. So I'm safe in my partnership where I know I can be my authentic self without being judged, without being shamed, without being told what to do. Ugh. I'm safe in my nervous system, so I can actually unwind all the way and surrender into pleasure. That's a really different aspect of pleasure that none of us are usually taught. Safe in the fact that when I am having a bad day, when I am not a joyful being, which I'm not gonna lie, I do wake up really joyful and really happy because I have that safety. But when I'm not, I also get to have a really crappy day, a day where I just feel down, a day where I actually turn toward myself and care for myself. That's newer, definitely, as I'm hitting my perimenopausal phase. That's definitely, I'm claiming that time and space in a new way. And safety really means that I'm safe in my body, which means I'm also giving myself safety. I'm not judging, shaming my own body. I'm meeting myself with love and compassion and so much acceptance. And that is actually the gateway into that surrender, is first meeting yourself in that space, no longer being the inner critic, no longer harping on my own body when I would look at it in the mirror or while I was making love to my husband, or the gray hairs that are lovely coming all over my silvery head. So their safety is really on so many different levels, but it begins with the nervous system.
Okay, love that. You also then, so I feel like safe was one big word, alive was another
Mhm.
big word that you use. So
Mhm.
when you say that you wanted to feel, and this is certainly was part of your history and your journey and your experience, you wanted to feel safe and alive. So what does that mean to you?
Oh, that means I am waking up with that vitality flowing through my body. I'm curious. I have a desire, and I'm noticing my desires. A lot of times we focus on all the things that are negative or that we don't want, especially in love, sex, and relationship. But when we change that lens to, ooh, what do I desire to experience? What do I desire to feel in my body? That creates such a different change. And to me, that's where that aliveness sparks in my heart, in my pussy, in my whole body.
Okay, I love it. And desire is definitely, I wrote it down, desire, not necessarily to ask you to explain that, but yes, but that is definitely a word that is part of all of this. The other piece, and we talk a lot on this podcast about nervous system regulation, so we don't necessarily need that, but let's talk a little bit about somatic work. And what does somatic work mean? Give us that definition. How does that play into the whole spectrum of things?
Yeah, so like I mentioned in the previous moment where we can talk about what we want or we can talk about the past. And it's not until we embody, so that's in the body, if we're really feeling that vibration, that we get to experience that somatic freedom. So our nervous system kicks in. So we're always constantly saying in the background, am I safe? Or do I need protection? And then based on that answer, it either routes us into the sympathetic nervous system or the parasympathetic nervous system. And so when we are noticing those shifts, we can become embodied. And so the shifts that tell us that we're not safe, that protection, it begins to shut our body down in certain areas. Like it can shut your heart down. It can shut your, like for women, their low belly, where a ton of intuition and deep wisdom live. We can be shut down and disconnected from that beautiful portal. We can be shut down from our sex organs. And so that's our nervous system actually creating so much safety and protection for us. But when we want to unwind that, when we want something differently, we have to go in somatically into the body, into the soma to begin to create a new vibration. And literally, I'm helping clients create new neural networks, new pathways, because if they've never felt safe enough to even feel the sensations, let's say in their pelvic bowl, which is so common. So if you're like, oh, that's me, just know that you're not broken. That's so common. But we actually begin to create new neural networks of love, of safety, of acceptance down into your body. So that's healing on that somatic level. So in the body, again, as opposed to talk therapy, where you're all up here in the brain. The brain isn't where we want to really heal and move it up level our lives. It's in the body.
Yes. So we have in the past, and I talk a lot then too about, finding joy and creating those habits and building those neural pathways in our brains so that
Mm-hmm.
we can essentially brainwash ourselves to see joy and help have our brain kind of filter so that we're seeing more joy. But what you're also saying is that we can actually build new neural pathways in all parts of our body. So
Mm-hmm.
as you are then working, it sounds like when you're working with clients that we can actually build new neural pathways in our lower belly or in our clitoris or in wherever that needs to be, the work needs to be done. That that is fascinating, and how beautiful our bodies are, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Right?
that's the part that actually fills me with the most joy. Like your body is already wired and create and has this ecology inside of it for healing, for medicine, for magic. And so I consider myself a guide, like I'm guiding you into the wisdom, magic, and intuition that is already inside of you. It's already there. But oftentimes it's that nervous system that blocks us and doesn't give us the safety to reach those depths.
Yes. Oh, and one of the things that I was thinking about, because I'm in the midst, if hopefully towards the end of this perimenopause space of life, and it's not all awful. I mean, there's some interesting things, and we have to learn, but learning how to love our bodies and feeling safe in newness in our bodies through
Mm-hmm.
all of those stages. So I was never a mother, but being a new mother or being, and so we are constantly needing to do that. But what I was thinking was, and we should remember how beautiful all of our bodies are and how magnificent our bodies are, that
Yeah.
we can come and work with a coach like you. And I'm actually going to build new neurons, or build
Yeah.
new neural pathways in my body that, oh my goodness, that's super cool, right?
Yeah, yeah. And out of all the research has been done about all the transformational tools that are available, all of them out there. The number one fastest route to transformation is through love. Through love.
Ooh, I just got
Woo!
chills. I seriously just got
Yeah.
goosebumps, and it's not cold out here. Okay. So
Yes,
say that again.
it's
Say that
true.
again. So the people that weren't really listening, they don't have to rewind. We're going to actually say this again. So stop what you're doing. Listen.
So it has been proven with research that the fastest route to transformation out of any other self-help tools is love, 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 because you don't need to fix your life, your body. You just simply need to help your body feel safe enough to enjoy it. And by meeting your body and encompassing it with love, that's the route. Love, love, love.
I use that word often in lots of different ways, but I now have a newfound appreciation for the word and for the feeling. So love.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we just need to live into that. Okay. So I am in my car, I'm listening, I'm driving to work, I'm driving home, I'm on
Mhm.
my nature walk, hopefully not on your nature walk, but you're on your walk outside and you're listening to this. And I'm thinking, okay, one, I don't have a lot of love in my life. And two, you talk about this pleasure, surrender into pleasure. I that's so far from my current existence. So talk
Mhm.
us through, because we're not going to show people today, but let's talk us through what are some easy steps, easy ways for people to start loving themselves or feeling into this whole pleasure thing you talk about.
Yes. Okay. Well, we'll do love first. And
Okay.
you're totally right. Like, I went on this big transformation and I was meeting myself with love. But just because I'm going to say, today's the day, today's Tuesday, and I'm going to start loving myself, it doesn't really work that way. It's
Right.
it's like going to the love gym. It's like doing the reps. You don't just decide to run a marathon on Wednesday and sign up for it on Saturday. You train for it. So if you consider meeting yourself with compassion, acceptance, grace, and love, then you can start to create those new neural pathways. So yeah, the first time you maybe meet your, let's say, low belly with love, it might feel icky, uncomfortable, even like give you the heebie jeebies, like, why would I be doing this? And that's totally normal because you're just creating a new pathway. And so think about anytime you're cutting through nature, like I'm going to go in the woods where it's really thick and dense and I'm going to cut a new pathway. You don't, it takes work, it takes effort. So understand the fact that just because you might want to start loving yourself in a different way, it's not going to feel or even like a trying on a jacket. It might be like, oh, this jacket's too tight, this jacket's too loose. So understand that it might create a little bit of ickiness, and that's okay. That's the invitation. That means you're hitting your love edge. You're going right up to that edge and you're looking over the edge at this ravine of juicy, delicious love. And you get to keep stepping your way closer and closer. So you can notice when you hear your inner critic thoughts, like the inner critic is there, it runs in everybody. It's part of our nervous system safety. It's part of keeping us in that box, keeping us safe, keeping us in our family, keeping us in our tribe so we can survive and we can eat and we can do all the things that we're meant to do on this planet. But when we hear that inner critic voice, you could just pause and you could say, you know what, inner critic voice? I hear you. I see and hear that you're trying to keep me safe. And because of that, I love you. Ooh, that's like a power move right there. Hearing the inner critic and then meeting it with like love, with compassion, with even gratitude, like, thank you for keeping me safe. Thank you for keeping me alive. All of a sudden, that inner critic starts to shift really quickly. All of a sudden, that voice doesn't get so loud that's beeping in our ears. It's like, oh, cellulite is bad and look at your butt. Blah. You get to say, oh, wait, I hear you. That's some societal bullshit ringing through my ears, and I don't subscribe to that. But I'm hearing your voice and I'm loving you and I'm bringing you into my heart because you're really here to do a divine job of keeping me alive. So that's how you can start to meet yourself with love.
Well, and one of the things I was going to say is that, or what I heard you say, is that I don't necessarily even have to start with saying love because that sometimes
Yeah.
feels like a little bit far of a reach, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful. I'm
Yeah.
grateful that you're keeping me alive. Like, I'm not sure if I
Mm-hmm.
love you yet.
Mm-hmm.
I love the word yet.
Totally.
But
Yep.
by what I'm hearing is I can start smaller than that. I can
Mm-hmm.
start with, okay, I guess you're keeping me alive. My one thing,
Mm-hmm.
and my girlfriends and I are all in this, like I said, in this perimenopause. And I am just really struggling hard with figuring out why that belly fat happens. So I'm trying to be grateful, not as
Mm-hmm.
grateful as I don't quite love the fact that all of it is moving to my belly. So I'm just saying I'm not sure I can love it yet, but I'll be grateful that I'm still, I don't know. Something about belly fat, I'll figure it out. So
I was just with a group of women and somebody brought up a really good point. They're like, we were talking about how estrogen is just depleting from our bodies. It's depleting from our bodies at such a rapid rate, but it's like our whole body. It's actually depleting even from our brain. So if you think about the fact that, okay, I'm in perimenopause, I've gained 10 pounds this last year. I am not happy about it, but I'm also noticing, and this is what that woman brought up, that maybe that 10 pounds is there because all of the depletion is happening inside of our body hormonal, and we've got a resource to like back up on. We're not quite like riding on an empty tank. Our tank is a little bit full with that 10 pounds belly fat full. I
yeah,
don't love it either, but
we're working on this. We're working on this. I'll be grateful to medicine. Yeah,
yes.
I'll be grateful to modern medicine that, you know, there are ways to refill my estrogen levels on a different way. But yes,
I'm working on it also with you.
I know, but and maybe okay. So maybe the love and compassion is coming both for our own bodies, but also for the collective ness that we can feel. I'm just making this up right now, but I think it's true. I think that there is this collective space that women that we've never met before, but now I feel a little more attached to, because you understand the things that are happening in my body. So maybe it is more of a societal, and I'm okay with love being on that level too. So maybe that's the love space we're supposed to feel for each other. So we'll see. We'll see. Okay,
and a community in it.
So we started. We're practicing this self love, and we are practicing it. We can start with gratitude, but we are practicing this. And as we've talked about before too, and what you just said, habits are not created overnight. You do have to continue to go back to them. You have to practice them. They will get easier. You will start to then move towards that love, which is the quickest path to transformation. So remember, that is our goal. Let's switch a little bit and let's talk about pleasure. Because I understand you did a really great job. So I'm with you, Melanie. I can do the whole self-love and we're going to get there. But I'm still a little bit from, I've got a great partner, but, pleasure is that surrender into pleasure seems a little scary to me.
Yes. And I want to let you know, it is scary to, I think, every person. So it's really, I love to think of pleasure begins in the inside. It's an inside job first. So again, it's meeting yourself and understanding, getting to know what is your pleasure landscape look like? What's the ecology of it? What's happening on the inside? Because we've been taught as a culture that pleasure can be an indulgence. It can be something you have to earn. But the reality is that pleasure isn't optional. It's medicine. It's medicine for your body. It's actually how the body recalibrates into that aliveness that we talked about at the beginning of the podcast. And pleasure is something that you can take on so many levels. So yes, I'm not quite ready yet to do a solo pleasure practice. So how can I step into receiving or even surrendering into pleasure? It can be holding your cup of coffee, feeling the warmth, smelling the smell, and taking pleasure in that moment. So you can make micro moments of pleasure that make a macro change in your body, in your nervous system. So a pleasurable bubble bath. What sounds pleasurable to you right now in this moment? And I love to have people slow down and ask themselves that question. Slow down, take a few breaths, even maybe hit pause on this podcast right now, put your hand on your heart, a hand on your belly, and breathe into your body and ask your body, not your mind, what would feel pleasurable in this moment? Maybe it's just putting on a yummy, warm, squishy sweatshirt. Maybe it's continuing to feel your body underneath your hands. And so those moments of pleasure, they're not a reward, that's regulation. That's coming home to yourself. That's letting everything else go and choosing the joy of pleasure.
Yeah. So I'm curious what your thoughts are, and when because you've studied this and you work with a lot of clients, you said, you know, society doesn't quite let us go into pleasure, or it's
Mhm.
not quite as acceptable, or maybe we have that loop in our brains. Do you find that that's more for women than for men? Although I'm assuming men feel that as way, but if it feels, when you said that, I was like, oh, that feels like, really, I can hear my girlfriends saying that. I can't necessarily hear my guy friends saying that as much.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yes. Women are definitely trained. I'm going to use that word trained by society to sacrifice themselves on all levels for everyone else first, then turn to themselves, then start giving themselves self care. Why do you think self care is, like you said, a buzzword? Because because it's new. We've been totally trained from generation to generation to generation to generation to be sacrificing all of ourselves for everyone else. And so I love, a friend of mine uses the word self full, because sometimes even that word selfish, it gets a bad rap, but I love the word selfish. Hell yeah, today I'm going to be selfish. Today I'm going to give myself an hour. An hour kind of seems radical sometimes. I'm a business owner. I'm a mother of 4 active boys. Like, an hour to myself is nar. But if I claim it, if I make it mine, if I step into it, and I am going to meet myself with pleasure for that hour, whether I'm dancing to a song I like, whether I'm just sitting and, like I said, breathing with my hands on my body, or whether I'm actually going into a pleasure practice where I do get to regulate my body with the medicine of pleasure, where I get to connect to my power, my individual power as a woman. That lives down in your pelvic bowl, ladies. That lives in the pelvic bowl. When we want that rooted confidence, that intuition, the wisdom, the magic is in between your thighs.
So let's talk before we get into more specifics, because I do want to get into some specifics
Mm-hmm.
about that. But what are and you started alluding to that, what are the benefits to me besides an orgasm? And ladies, and just the men that are listening to this too, you know, orgasms are great, not dissing them at all. But what are the benefits to truly surrendering into that pleasure for, and let's stick on women right now. For me as a woman,
Mm-hmm.
what are the benefits besides the orgasm and great skin, because I'm getting all this blood flow, right? What are the benefits to me?
You're right. So we've got blood flow. So that, like, people are like, "Oh my gosh, you're too young to be with a partner for 27 years. You're too young to have a kids these that are this old." That's called orgasm. That's called good pleasure. That's called the delicious blood flow. We will increase our immune system. You'll get better sleep. You have better hormonal balance. You're more in tune with the cycle and the seasons of your body when you're in that space. I mean, it is countless benefits of experiencing pleasure, and orgasm doesn't have to happen to even have those benefits. So you can even take orgasm off the table and you're still going to get that nourishment from pleasure.
So those sounded mostly, which are amazing, sounded like physical benefits to me. Are there
Mm-hmm.
psychological and emotional benefits for me also? I mean, am I going to be a better business owner? Will I be a better decision maker if I am experiencing pleasure?
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that. Absolutely. So when we are in our pleasure, we can do so many things to increase our mental capacity, our mental health, um, including you can use pleasure to manifest. I love a practice called sex magic, and women have been and couples have been practicing this practice for thousands and thousands of years. But it's really actually becoming crystal clear on what you want. I use it all the time for my business. When I'm doing something new or there's a big project in front of me, I use sex magic because I'm updating my nervous system with pleasure, with a specific goal, not so much a goal, I don't like that word, but with a specific vision, what's in store for me. And then when my nervous system is updated with that vision ahead of me, all of a sudden I start saying yes, 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 because not only did my nervous system experience it, I experienced it and I thrived with pleasure. I didn't die. So that actually makes an imprint on my nervous system. And so that makes it open and easy and safe. And so there, now I'm in that parasympathetic nervous system response. When all of a sudden this opportunity comes towards me, I say, "Oh, yeah, absolutely. Of course, this was destined." And then that's it too, when you are updating your body with pleasure and what you want to envision, what you really want in life, then you become this magnet and it comes to you easy. I mean, there is, you can think that manifestation is woo woo, you can say whatever you want with it, but it actually works. And your body is this energetic magnet that pulls these things towards you. When I surrender into pleasure with my partner and he gives me what is a sacred yoni massage. It's a tantric practice, again, being experienced by women for thousands and thousands of years. That is like cleaning out the core channel that lives in our bodies. So this core channel, and it is like, I said after one practice, I was like, that was better than 9 months of therapy. And it was a practice that takes about 60, maybe 120 minutes, depending on how much fun we're having and how deep we're going. But when I go deep into that practice, now my husband knows how to hold that space for me where I do not have to give anything back in return. So right there, that's such a permission giver, such an opportunity to surrender, because I owe nothing. There is nothing that has to be paid back. This is purely for me. I choose my music, I choose the lighting, I choose everything, and he is there. And when I'm in that state of surrender, which it does take work to get there, sometimes on a bad day I can't get there because I'm not allowing myself to surrender and open that much. But usually what happens once I check in with myself, I'm like, wow, something's not right. What do I want to be experiencing right now? And I have this internal dialogue with myself. What do I want to be experiencing right now? I want to be experiencing surrender. Why can't I surrender? Okay, this and this feels off inside of my body. Now, what can I do about that? Oh, I can step into my queen. A queen knows how to surrender. And I literally said that for a whole song. I repeated that during this yoni massage where like, a queen knows how to surrender. A queen allows herself to surrender. A queen can surrender. And I just kept saying that. And then all of a sudden that song got quiet and the next song came on. And it was like this tidal wave of orgasmic bliss that flowed up from my pelvis and actually all the way up to the top of my head. And I started to have this incredible orgasm where I was sighing, I was sounding, and I even ended up crying. And at this point, my husband knows that I'm okay and he'll check in, but he's there in service in offering me this holistic, healthy way to process stored emotions, because these emotions, life experiences, tension, trauma really get stored in our body. And until we can surrender in that safety, we can't allow ourselves to feel that. So when I have a yoni massage, yeah, I almost cry every single time. And it's not like a soft cry. It's like a wave of sobs that my body's been holding for maybe years. Finally has the opportunity, the permission, and the safety to release. And then I just feel like crystal clear from the center, like, I feel so good, so alive, so clean, so clear, because I have allowed myself to release that energy.
That one sounds amazing and beautiful. And how do we all get that? And how do we all get that? So, where do we clearly that has taken some years of practice, just like anything. So, if you're listening to this and you're raising your hand, you're like, yes, I want that as well. Where do we start? Let's say let's go first with I have a partner. So let's go with having a partner. And where do I'm open and I'm ready. Where do we begin? Where do we start?
Yeah. So when I guide these practices, these are definitely practices that I taught because I was guided. I handed down this lineage. I do that now with clients. But when I create this space, we are creating an environment of safety. So I love to think of it as like this pleasure temple, or you're creating a couple bubble. You're creating space, first of all, where you can be like, you can surrender, you can be loud, you can have that burst of emotion. I can't do that if my kids are in the house. Never, ever, ever. It's a space where we are alone. There's no threat or fear of somebody, even the kids coming in the house. So it's really understanding, setting up the elements of safety for you as individuals, and having a conversation about that is such a beautiful way to actually create some foreplay. You can create, what sounds safe to you? What does if we're going to spend an hour to an hour and a half together experiencing pleasure, what are the elements that help you? I love to always awaken my five senses. So I want to smell something nice. I want to see pretty things. I like to have an altar where, I have goddesses and candles and elements of nature. I always have rocks and feathers and things like that. I want to feel yummy fabrics on my skin. I want to even taste really yummy food or clear water. So how can we awaken our whole bodies to this experience? And then really understanding some of the holistic tools that are available for you. Like I said, we're all born with the capacity to experience this. None of you are broken. I know sometimes we feel broken, but your body is intrinsically designed for this level of ecstasy, for this level of soul connection. So it's understanding that safety has to be really addressed. And that when you do that, it's beautiful. You're honoring your body. So some of the holistic tools are, using your breath, using movement, knowing how to sound. And when I say sound, it's like, it's allowing your body to really sound what you're experiencing. And it's not like, it doesn't sound like porn. None of it sounds like porn. So we could just like 86,
All of
anything that
that.
you see or
Yeah.
hear, all of it. So it's creating this space so you can surrender. And then it's really seeing what you need from your partner. Like I said, my husband knows that if he's crying, now at this point, he checks in sometimes, and sometimes he just knows and he's letting it flow. But at the beginning, he would be like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay? Should I stop? Should I keep going?" And I'm like, "What?"
Yeah. No, no, no.
So yeah, so it's a gentle process. It's something that I guide, and I have tantric sex dates. You can just book one off. I guide clients in it, and I have a date night membership where we do this kind of work every single month. So you're building and building and building because it is new. No one taught us how to have a thriving, full body, lifelong pleasure experience with pleasure. So it's like new education. So you have to practice it, and it's
Yeah.
more fun to practice while you don't have to think about it when you're being guided by somebody like me, which there's lots of coaches out there. So you can find the flavor and the vibe that you like. When you're guided, it's a little bit less scary because someone's there
Yes.
like energetically holding your hand in the whole process.
Yes. But even if we're not ready for that piece of it, a couple of things that I heard, it's
Mm-hmm.
about understanding pleasure on with using all your five senses. But even
Mm-hmm.
before that, having those really good discussions with your partner about safety and about what that means. And like you said, those of you who are mamas out there or dads, that that is a difference. Or if you have intergenerational household that
Mm-hmm.
somebody else isn't coming into the picture, or your pets, whatever that might be, but figuring out
Mm-hmm.
all of those things and having those discussions. And I'm assuming it's having those discussions outside of the time perhaps that you're going to experience that you can have that discussion,
Mm-hmm.
those open forms of discussion. So what if I am someone and I'm listening and I'm like, yeah, this all sounds great, but I don't have a partner. Like I don't have a partner
Mm-hmm.
and I still want to experience pleasure, and that is just not part of, it's just not part of my life right now. So
Yeah.
what do I do?
That brings me back to what I said before. It's an inside job first. So I couldn't surrender and be in that space with my partner until I experienced it for myself first. So it's that same route, but having that conversation with yourself. What do I need to feel safe? What do I need to have in the environment? What do I need to experience within myself? Again, that love, that inner critic can't be running wild if you're really trying to dip into this high level of sacred sexuality. So it's understanding, and then it's knowing that your whole body is this pleasure field. And so I love my favorite practice to do anytime I self pleasure, anytime I have a pleasure practice. Do you know if I keep saying pleasure practice?
Mhm.
Because it's a practice. It's a practice.
Just like
It's a
yoga, just like anything,
practice.
we're practicing. We're
Yeah.
practicing. Yes, we're not
Yeah.
getting it. We're not getting an A on this, right? We continue. We
Mm-hmm.
get to continue to practice this throughout our life. Yeah.
Yeah, what an honor. So I love to awaken my whole body first. So I don't even touch anywhere near my vulva until maybe like I always have music on. So I'm like, maybe like two or three songs in. I'm going to stroke my arms, my hair, my face, my neck, my breasts, all the way down to my feet, my legs. And like when I am doing that, I am moving I am sounding, I am expressing for me. Ooh, that is self-full. That is like, oh, I'm coming home to myself and I'm meeting myself on that level. And you can't, in my opinion, you can't go into experience like that with a partner unless you've really done that work for yourself first, because you're first updating your nervous system, your whole body. You're recoding it with that permission that my body is here for pleasure. My body is here for divine sacred connection. And when I can meet myself there, when I feel comfortable with myself, then I can possibly share it with somebody else.
Yes, and so I want everybody to hear that as well, that regardless if you have a partner that you're experiencing this, either or,
Mm-hmm.
having that self-pleasure first and having that practice and knowing our bodies, right? And I think often, as you alluded to this before a little bit, that as women, we are putting everybody else first. So sometimes we don't even know our own bodies. It brings me back, and again, I think you're probably a little younger than I am, but thinking about Sex in the City and thinking
Yeah.
about there's a couple episodes where I don't know which one, I can't remember. Charlotte didn't had never seen her vagina before. And Samantha
Yeah.
was like, "What?"
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
you have to know. So as women, we need to do that work and take that
Mm-hmm.
responsibility to own our bodies,
Mm-hmm.
to understand
Mm-hmm.
and to know our bodies, because how else can we have that conversation with a partner if we don't
Mm-hmm.
know that
Yeah.
know that first. So yes. Oh my
My
goodness,
my
I
practice.
love this. I've got like I'm all like my guides are all here saying this is like the best thing ever. I get a little woo woo sometimes
Yeah.
too,
Uh-huh.
but yes, it's awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, I remember my first mirror practice, and it was intense. And I sat in resistance, I think, for about a week or two before I actually, okay, I'm ready. When you meet that resistance, it's that same thing. It's like, oh, I don't want to do that. That's not for me. Like that's the resistance talking. That's your invitation to dig a little bit deeper, to meet that resistance with that love, with that acceptance, and say, okay, I hear you, I see you. What these women are saying is, though, that this is for everybody. So why are you their resistance? Why are you their voice in my head? Why are you their inner critic? I mean, started that journey of self-love, and I met my gray hair, my chin hair, my eyebrow hair with the love. I met the cellulite, the breastfed poor babies with love. The last, like, domino to fall in my love journey was for my vulva, was for the whole anatomy that I had. We all carry trauma. We all carried shared collective trauma about our appearance, especially in our vulvas. So that practice of, like, okay, I'm going to spread my legs open in front of this full length mirror. Um, it didn't take long to, like, get over the ick factor, because I started to breathe into my pussy. And women have just as much erectile tissue as men. And so when we start when we start doing what I love to call pussy breathing, we're breathing into the pussy. That allows the blood to flow. And it's like, wow, I'm not touching anything. I'm just breathing into my pussy, and I'm seeing what's happening in the mirror. Like, whoo, holy cow, I'm getting a vulva chub. Yes.
Yeah.
So it can be a really fun practice. And it's not, it's like your elbow in your ear, which we all show every day.
Yeah.
So, just give yourself grace and compassion, and just keep leaning in, keep meeting that edge with love and with acceptance, love, compassion,
Yes.
all of it.
Love it. Oh my goodness. This conversation is so amazing. And I know we could continue to talk about things, but I also know that people are listening and there are people that are saying, okay, I'm ready. Like
Yeah.
I am ready for something a little bit more. So one, where do they find you? And two, then I'll ask after this too, like what kind of words do you have or what advice do you have for all of us? But I want to make sure that we talk a little bit about I have a little birdie that told me that you might be launching a podcast, or by the time people are listening to this, you'll have your own podcast. So, talk a little bit about your podcast, talk a little bit about where people can find you, all the resources that you have for people.
Yes. All right. So, yeah, our podcast is launching in the beginning of May 2026.
Yay!
And I am doing this podcast with another woman. It's called Love Under Construction. And it is this whole conversation. It's that your love isn't broken, it's just under construction. And so we're giving you real life tools, simple practices, having these open conversations. As she's also a mother, so we put together, we have 8 kids. Like we apparently didn't pay attention to the world overpopulation thing. It's fine. They'll take care of it for us.
Yeah.
But we're having these conversations. We're opening up the space. And so I would love it if you found it, if you liked and subscribed, all the podcast juiciness. And if you are wanting to go into this work deeper, if you're wanting that safety, the ability to surrender, the connection, the quality of relationship that you have with yourself or with somebody else, you can find me at melaniebonk.com. There I've got all kinds of freebies. You can go to the freebie page and you can actually begin your self-love journey with a couple different meditations. They're free. You just drop in your email and then they come in your email box. The first one is beautiful. It's practicing meeting yourself with love. And I guide you through the steps of actually seeing yourself at different stages and saying, oh, I see you. I love you. There's also a sensual meditation for vulva owners. So it's coming into more of that sensuality, the ecstatic energy that's in your body. And it's all guided and it's just meditation. So it's using the power of your mind to connect with your body and connect to that love. So those are all the goodies there's as well as connection practices between couples. There's a practice for men, like all kinds of yummy stuff at the website. And then on social media, you can find me at Bonk Better.
I love it. And I will put all of that in the show notes. And definitely I will let everybody know as well when it's Love Under Construction when that comes out as well. So those of you podcast lovers, and if you need some more of this is just the tip of the iceberg with Melanie. 2 other questions then for you. What is bringing you joy today?
I had a lovely morning, just the being present and in my body all day today. I woke up early. I coached at the gym. I came home and woke up the kids for school, took them to school, went to the dog park. Then I took myself to the gym. I mean, it's just been like a fabulous, fabulous morning. So being embodied in the present moment without the brain taking over with all of its thoughts, all of its things, all of the nonsense that doesn't really exist. So right now, being present in the moment is bringing me so much joy.
Beautiful, beautiful. And any last pieces of bonk wisdom that you have for the listeners today?
The quality of your connection to your body, to yourself, it starts with your breath. It starts with beating yourself with acceptance and love. And so just taking a breath, just breathe. After this podcast is over, put your hand on your heart, a hand on your body, anywhere that feels good, and just take a few breaths and connect with yourself. You deserve it.
Yes. Oh, what a perfect way to end this delightful conversation. I just want to say thank you, Melanie, for sharing your gifts with us. I think it is so important. We all have been blessed with gifts, and those of you who are living into them like you are living into yours, we really appreciate you being able to share that with us. And I'm hoping that this will bring immense pleasure to many or all of the listeners today. And for those of you listening to the end, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss another episode. And remember, Rachel, from my heart to yours, I am celebrating you today and every day. So have fun, live well, enjoy.